Welcome to Arundel Castle. We are here on the castle grounds. We bought an admission ticket for £23, which covers the castle, the grounds, and the special fair, which only takes place a couple days out of the year. It is spectacular. So Arundel Castle was built in 1067, which is 1 year after the Norman conquest. You can see that it has Norman influences, and don't let it fool you, because despite when it was built, it was destroyed almost entirely during the English Civil War, and then it was rebuilt. It was actually incredible because it was built in the same style, but adding the medieval Gothic architecture, which you can see in the castle. Let's go and explore. The castle was strategically built on a high ground. We're now going to the keep. To get a better idea of this strategical position, head over to the keep, which was built for defense in the 11th century. The views from the keep reach all the way to the coast and over the river Arun. The views are spectacular, ensuring good visibility of any potential threats and a military advantage in case of a rival army laid siege. You can climb the stone steps up into the keep and make your way alongside the narrow corridors to enjoy the magnificent views from the top of the walls. The oldest feature is the motte. The motte is an artificial mound which is over 100 feet high from the dry motte, which was constructed in 1068, followed by the gatehouse, which was built in 1070. William the Conqueror commissioned Arundel Castle to be built to protect the area from French invasion. The first Earl of the castle was Roger de Montgomery, a loyal friend and ally to William. We made our way to the chapel. I wonder if people actually were climbing all these stairs every day for prayer. It's a small private chapel for the Earl of Arundel, probably. Amazing views from the chapel. Would you look at that? This is a private chapel that would have been used by the owners of the castle, and Arundel Castle remained the royal property up until 1138, when it was granted to Queen Adeliza of Luthen by King Stephen as part of her dowry. And the chapel was dedicated to Saint Martin of Tours, who joined the Roman army at 15 years of age, and it is associated with the biblical story of the saint who cut his own cloak to give it to a beggar. As I was mentioning earlier, the castle was destroyed in the English Civil War, and then it was rebuilt. It's an architectural masterpiece. Some of the views that it displays are top quality and absolutely breathtaking. Have a look. I think this is an interior courtyard. It's just outside the chapel, so it might have been a nice place, not just to hang out, because I don't think they worried much about that in the Middle Ages, but as you can see, there's a tiny strategically positioned right on top of the hill, so you can see everything on a few kilometer radius, especially with buildings, and there were just fields. You get a perfect view. So whoever's coming, army running up, they trying to attack your castle, but they don't stand a chance because you are right here at the window. You're shooting down arrows, maybe pouring down hot oil and anything else that they were equipped with. And it was making it really impossible to take down castles like this. Arundel Castle provided shelter on many occasions, including in 1139, when the Empress Matilda was invited to stay at Arundel during her travels to press her claim on the English throne upon King Stephen. The apartments constructed to accommodate her and her entourage, survived to this day. 700 years later, in 1846, Queen Victoria and her husband Prince Albert visited Arundel Castle for 3 days. The bed in which they slept in remained on display at the castle, and it can be seen in the bedroom which was named after the Queen. Although several kings owned the castle over the centuries, the Duke of Norfolk has lived in the castle for over 800 years. In fact, Arundel Castle is still the official residence of the Duke of Norfolk. You don't have to be a historian to say that this is probably the sword room. It's pretty much a walk-in closet, but the medieval version. What do you think? Would you like to have this in your home?
And we arrived at Walmart, and here you can buy guns. This is the chapel, and it says in the brochure that this is a strong demonstration of the 15th Duke of Norfolk's Catholic faith and a Victorian masterpiece, inspired by Westminster Abbey. As you can see, it's the same structure, and also by Lincoln Cathedral. There's a purebeck marble columns and fine stone carvings throughout. And the stained glass is by Hartman of Birmingham, illustrated with biblical references. There's biblical statues all around, and just the stonework is astonishing.
Did you know that during the English Civil War, the parliamentarians kept their horses in the Fitzalan Chapel?
This is the Baron's Hall. It is the largest room in the palace. It is 41 meters long and 15 or 16 meters high. If you look up at the ceiling, the Humber beam roof is inspired by Westminster Hall, and the stained glass in the window and depicts scenes from the family history. It's absolutely amazing to look at all this furniture and look at the paintings, and to quote my husband, look at those paintings. This is what people had before television for visual entertainment. This is probably a place where they would entertain some guests. I would assume it was mainly for the males of the household, and there was plenty to do here. I think this is a two-door fireplace. I recognize that top part. And the church says it's bad. We're now in the gallery, which displays a collection of, first and foremost, family portraits of the Norfolk family. And other notable artifacts from this room are the whitened marble bust of Pope Leo XIII. There's also a small marble statue by John Francis of the Duke of Sutherland wearing a toga. And then some of these chairs that have the "Don't sit on it" sign. These are Chippendale ribbon back mahogany dining chairs with green cut velvet covering. And then you have the white marble bust by Matthew Noble of Admiral Lord Lyons, the father of Duchess Mina. And then you have you have a lot of white marble busts, you get the idea. And then a few more chairs, which were George II gilt gesso with floral needlework and tapestry. Let's go check them out.
Many of the art pieces that can be seen in the castle was collected by Thomas Howard, the 14th Earl of Arundel, who made his name as a grand tourist and art collector. When he died, he possessed 700 paintings, along with large collections of sculpture, books, prints, drawings, and antique jewelry. Arundel collected drawings by Leonardo da Vinci, the two Holbeins, Raphael, and other notable artists. Many of these are now at the Royal Library at Windsor Castle or at Chatsworth. The Earl also had a large collection of antique sculpture, the Arundel marbles, mostly Roman, but including some he had excavated in the Greek world, which was then the most important in England. The marble and statue collection was later left to Oxford University. Here we find ourselves in the small drawing room. The term drawing is actually an abbreviation from withdrawing, and the term was used for the room in a noble family home in which guests can be received and entertained. If you've seen the small drawing room and are wondering if there's a big drawing room as well, then you're in luck. Although it is simply called the drawing room, it was reconstructed in 1879 and occupies the shell of Henry II's Great Hall, built in the 12th century. The frieze of the oak ceiling is a typical heraldic concept of bucklers and shows the quarterings brought into the Howard family through marriages to heiresses from the 13th to the 19th centuries. The library houses roughly 10,000 books, and it is the principal survival of the 11th Duke's work and one of the most important Gothic rooms in the country. Did you know that Arundel Castle has often been used as a filming location? It appeared in films like The Madness of King George, Young Victoria, and featured in an episode of Doctor Who. Would you like to live in a castle? Like this video if you do, and comment if you don't to tell me why not. I recommend ending the tour of Arundel Castle with a tour of the gardens, which display a variety of landscapes and environments, as well as an explosion of color, delicate aromas, and structural designs to delight you. Not to mention that they host regular events in the castle gardens, especially during the warm spring and summer months. Check out arundelcastle.org for more information regarding events, admission, and more history. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it with the world, as that will make a huge difference. Check out my other travel guides, and I will see you in the next video!